We all want to be more attractive, but most people get it completely wrong. They think attractiveness is about looks, about height, or about having the right job or the right car. And sure, those things matter, but they are not what makes someone truly magnetic, because we've all met people who checked all those boxes and were still somehow forgettable. And we've all met people who had none of these advantages and still pulled everyone in the room toward them. So what is the actual difference? Eventually, it all comes down to 7 habits. 7 specific, learnable habits that make you impossible to ignore. Not just physically attractive, but attractive in a way that draws people to you like a magnet. And the good news is, none of these habits require you to become someone you're not. They all rely on things you already have inside you. So let's start right with the first one. Take care of yourself. Let's start with the most basic one, because it is the foundation everything else builds on, and most people underestimate how much it matters. Taking care of yourself is not about being the best looking person in the room. It is about showing respect for yourself. And that respect is visible. People can see it before you say a word. Clean, well-fitting clothes you feel confident in, hair that looks intentional and well-kept, skin you actually take care of, nails that are well-trimmed, a scent that works for you. None of this requires a lot of money, it simply requires your attention, and it is extremely powerful because when you take care of your appearance, you send a signal to everyone around you and more importantly, to yourself. The signal is, I value myself enough to put effort in, and that self-valuation shows up in how you walk, how you speak, and how you carry yourself. This is also scientifically proven. When you look put together, you feel put together, and when you feel put together, you show up differently, more confident, more present, and more like someone worth paying attention to. This is the easiest habit on this list, and you can start implementing it right after you finished watching this video. Really, you'll be surprised how much of a difference this one simple habit can make. But appearance only gets you noticed. What keeps people interested is something that goes much deeper than how you look, and that brings us to be fully present. There is a specific type of pain only some men know, and it is the moment you realize mid-conversation that you have not actually heard a single word the other person just said. You were physically there, but your mind was somewhere else, and the other person felt it, even if they didn't say it. We live in a world of constant distraction. Everyone is half somewhere else, scrolling, thinking about the next thing, half listening while preparing what they are going to say next. And when you talk to someone like that, you feel it. You feel slightly invisible, like what you are saying does not really land. Now imagine the opposite, someone who actually looks at you, who listens to what you're saying, who digs deeper, who responds to your actual words instead of their own inner monologue. That person feels magnetic, not because of anything they said, but because of how they made you feel. So if you want to be more attractive, you have to implement this one simple habit. When you are with someone, be only with that person. Put your phone away. Stop scanning the room. Stop preparing your next sentence while they are still talking. Just listen genuinely. Most people have never experienced this consistently from another person, so when you do it, you become the most memorable person in their week, possibly their whole month. Great, now we know that presence pulls people in, but this is also where we have to be careful because there is a massive difference between giving someone your full attention and constantly craving theirs, and that leads us to stop needing people's approval. Most guys never realize this, but the moment you walk into a room needing people to like you, you have already lost your attractiveness. It shows up everywhere, acting in a different way just to fit in, trying hard just to make them laugh, doing anything just to make them like you. People feel this. They cannot always name it, but they feel it. And it creates the opposite of attraction, a quiet sense that this person needs something from me, and nobody is drawn to someone who is only there for approval. The people who are genuinely magnetic have switched that program off, not because they do not care about people, they do, but because their sense of self does not rise and fall based on how any single interaction goes. They are almost the same in a room full of strangers as they are with their closest friends. That consistency is rare, and rare things are attractive. So here is how you can apply that in practice. Stop filtering everything you say through the question, will this be well received? Say the genuine thing, hold the real opinion, be yourself, not the version of yourself you think people want to see. Stop needing people to like you or feel attracted to you, and watch how quickly they start to give you exactly that. This is the paradox of attraction. Once you stop chasing them, they start chasing you. But it's almost impossible to stop wanting people's approval if you don't have something going on yourself. You need something to look forward that has nothing to do with other people's opinions. And that leads us to the next point. Have something you actually care about. There is nothing more attractive than a man with a mission. You've probably heard some dating gurus or alpha coaches tell you to act busy, to wait 3 hours before replying to a text, or to pretend you have plans when you're actually just sitting on the couch. But here's the problem. People can tell when it's fake. If you're just pretending to be busy, you're not being magnetic. You're just playing a game. And deep down, you know you're lying to yourself, which silently kills your self-confidence. So here's what really works. Actually be busy. When you have something you truly care about, a goal, a passion, or a project that actually excites you, you naturally develop what I call high-value tunnel vision. You aren't acting like you're not checking your phone. You genuinely have more important things to do. You have somewhere to be, you have something to build, and that is incredibly magnetic. It tells the world that your happiness and your emotional state is not dependent on anyone else's presence. You aren't just another person who is desperately seeking for approval. You flip the script. You are the one others want to seek approval from. So find out what that one thing is for you and start working on it. It doesn't have to be your job, and it doesn't have to make you famous. Maybe it's building a side business, going to the gym, playing soccer, making music, or learning a new language. It doesn't really matter what it is, but it has to be yours, and you should be genuinely passionate about it. Having a mission gives you that inner magnetic core, but that is only half the battle, because even the most driven man can lose their edge if they don't know how to set boundaries. We all know this situation. There is someone in the group who always says yes, always available, extremely kind and good-hearted, does everyone a favor, and never pushes back. On paper, that should be the perfect guy all people feel drawn to, right? But in reality, nobody feels attracted to him, and nobody respects him. Here's why. A person without limits is a person without edges, and without edges, there is nothing real to hold on to. You cannot fully trust someone who agrees with everything. You cannot be genuinely attracted to someone who has no preferences of their own. Boundaries are not about being difficult, they are about being real. When you say no and mean it, when you draw a line and hold it calmly, without drama, you send a signal most people never send. And that signal says, I know who I am, I know what I will and will not accept, and I respect myself enough to protect it. That signal is deeply attractive because it tells people something rare. This person is not going to become whoever you need them to be. They are going to be themselves. Here's what that means for you in practice. Learn to say no without a 5-paragraph explanation. Speak up when something crosses a line, once clearly and without anger. Be willing to disappoint someone rather than betray yourself. The first few times it feels uncomfortable, but that discomfort is just the feeling of self-respect being built. Sit with it. And notice how the dynamic around you shifts when people realize you actually mean what you say. Boundaries create respect, but respect alone is not enough to be truly magnetic. The next habit is what turns respect into genuine attraction. Be comfortable going first. One time, I saw the most attractive women at my gym, and for 30 minutes, I did absolutely nothing. I was too scared to approach her. You can't just interrupt her workout. What if she has a boyfriend? What if people think I'm a creep? All these thoughts were running through my head and I almost talked myself out of it. But then I said to myself, fuck it, you know exactly how much you would regret it if you didn't approach her. So I pushed through the fear, walked up to her and simply told her, hey, I think you're really beautiful and I just had to come over and say hi. Her face completely lit up. She was incredibly friendly, we had a great conversation and I ended up getting her number. But the best part wasn't even the number, it was the fact that I could see how much of an impression it made on her. Simply because most guys don't have the balls to do it. On my way home, I felt like a king. Not because I'm some pickup artist or alpha male, but because I had the courage to approach her without waiting for any permission. Most people spend their lives waiting. They wait for a smile before they smile back. They wait for a signal that they'll be well received before they show up fully. But that waiting reads as uncertainty. It shows you need permission to be yourself. The most magnetic people do the opposite. They go first. They smile before they know if it will be returned. They start the conversation without an invitation. They say the genuine thing without calculating if it will land perfectly. This signals one thing: security. It says you aren't auditioning for anyone's approval. You are just you, and you are comfortable in your own skin. So stop overthinking it. Go first, do the thing, and let the rest of the world react to you. And in order to find the courage to go first, you need to believe in yourself. This is the truth about confidence that nobody tells you, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Most people are waiting to feel confident before they act. They think, once I have more success, more experience, and more proof, then I will believe in myself. But that is not how it works. That is actually the opposite of how it works. Real self-belief is not the absence of doubt. It is the decision to move forward anyway, and people feel the difference between someone who has this and someone who does not immediately. It is in the way they speak, with conviction instead of apology, the way they hold eye contact, steady instead of searching for reassurance, the way they take up space, like they are allowed to be there. Self-belief is not built by thinking differently, it is built by acting differently, repeatedly, in small moments, over time. Every time you do the uncomfortable thing, every time you follow through on what you said you would do, every time you hold your ground instead of folding, you file a piece of evidence. And that evidence adds up into a story about who you are. So if your self-belief feels shaky right now, do not wait for it to arrive before you act. Act first. We actually dive much deeper into this specific process of collecting evidence in the first module of the Charisma Code. There you don't only find a detailed video, but also an actionable step as well as a PDF summary to help you turn this concept into a daily habit. So if you want to speed up that process and do it with a proven system, you can find the link in the description. See you there.